Hey, welcome. So, today we're going to talk about something that a lot of us feel, but maybe don't really talk about. And that is the incredible power of having a really small, tight knit group of friends. We're going to explore why choosing that tiny, loyal circle over a giant list of acquaintances, well, it might just be your biggest strength. So, let me just ask you this straight up. Have you ever felt kind of guilty about it? Maybe you've even called yourself antisocial because your inner circle is, small enough to count on one hand. Well, you can throw that whole idea out the window. Today, we're going to completely reframe that thought. What if that preference isn't a flaw at all? What if it's actually a sign of really high emotional intelligence, authenticity, and a pretty amazing kind of cognitive efficiency? Let's get into the psychology of it. Okay, let's dive into reason number one. It might just be that your brain is hardwired to prefer depth over small talk. The idea here is that for some of us, that surface level chatter isn't just boring, it's genuinely physically exhausting. Psychologists actually have a name for this: high processing minds. And for people with these minds, social interaction isn't just about swapping random information. No, a real conversation has to light up those creative and problem-solving parts of the brain. It's about finding meaning, exploring new ideas, not just talking about the weather. And this explains so much, right? It's why you might be the quiet one in a big group. You're not being shy, you're actually saving your cognitive energy. You would much rather wait for one complex, meaningful topic to come up than just add to all the superficial noise. And with your small circle, you get to skip all the fluff and get right to the good stuff, those deep, authentic conversations your mind really craves. All right, let's move on to our second point, which really builds on that whole idea of authenticity. This one is all about where you get your sense of self-worth. Is it from the applause of a crowd or from your own inner scorecard? The psychological term for this is having a high internal locus of evaluation. And it's such a powerful concept. It basically means your self-worth comes from your own values, your own principles, not from getting a stamp of approval from dozens of people. You just don't need an audience to tell you who you are. And this creates such a fascinating contrast, doesn't it? Our culture is constantly pushing for that external validation, the likes, the comments, the massive social following, just to feel seen. But you're operating from a completely different place: self-validation. This points to what experts call strong self-concept clarity. You know who you are, and that's enough. And this, right here, just gets to the very heart of that mindset. You're choosing your own internal peace over the constant performance of trying to impress a big audience. You just don't have that nagging need to announce every single detail of your life to feel like you matter. Your life is for you, not for an audience. Okay, our third reason, this one's rooted in a really deep form of emotional intelligence and self-protection. It's about understanding the incredibly high cost of caring, which leads to something called guarded empathy. Now, this is especially common in people who feel like they grew up too fast. You might have learned to be super aware of other people's emotions, almost like a survival tool. So guarded empathy isn't about being cold at all. It's a wise and totally necessary protective shield for your nervous system. So if this sounds familiar, it means you're incredibly perceptive. You can read a room in an instant, you sense when the mood shifts, and you can see through a fake persona pretty quickly. But because of that, you have to be selective. You only invest that deep emotional energy in people who have proven time and again that they're a safe harbor for it. Just let that sink in for a second. It costs to care without protection. See, this isn't about being closed off. It's about being wisely selective. You get on a gut level the emotional toll of caring deeply, so you choose your investments very, very carefully to avoid that chronic stress of just absorbing everyone else's energy. And that brings us to our final point. Having a small social circle isn't a sign that you're lacking something. It's actually the mark of a highly efficient mental and social organizational system. Think about it like this. Maybe you know someone whose desk is a complete mess, but their digital files are perfectly organized. Your social life works the same way. You have zero interest in emotional or social clutter. You're running a mental efficiency model, and you're funneling your precious energy only into what truly matters, and you just let the rest go. This approach is also a really powerful defense for your mental health. By keeping your circle small, you naturally avoid that trap of social comparison theory. That exhausting, never-ending cycle of measuring your life against everybody else's. Your focus stays on your goals, not on performing for others. So, here's the crucial point. That number, whether it's 2, 3, maybe 4, it's not a deficit. It is a deliberate choice. It's a system that you designed for you. And it's built for depth, security, and pure efficiency. And this slide just captures that whole shift in perspective perfectly. So instead of thinking, I'm antisocial, the new understanding is, no, I just prefer authentic interaction. Instead of worrying, oh, I'm too closed off, you can recognize that I practice guarded empathy. And your social life isn't lacking. It's profoundly, intentionally, mentally efficient. So please, let this be your final takeaway. If you'd rather have one 3-hour conversation with a trusted friend than go to a party with 50 acquaintances, you're not strange. You're choosing quality over quantity. And that is a sign of true inner security. As we wrap up, just remember this. Your small circle isn't a weakness. It's a fortress. It's a sign of a well-protected mind in a very noisy world. And that just leaves us with one last thought to chew on. What does your inner circle help you protect?